But there's a more potent symbol of wealth. I don't know what it is. I mean, sure, gold and diamonds are pretty, but they can't row your boat down the road at 100 plus. Nope. Oil means power because oil means energy, and energy means work. Oil is also valuable as a lubricant, a heat transfer medium, and of course, it tastes good. Oh, do you think I meant that dinosaur stuff out there? Heck no, that's 20th century stuff. These days, the power is in plant oils. Today's global grocery offers oils from fruits like olives and avocados, seeds like sunflower, sesame, mustard, or grape, nuts, as in walnut, palm kernel oil, hazelnut, legumes like soybeans and peanuts. If all these choices leave you in a daze, you are not alone. See, most of us don't have a notion of how to sort out our edible oil options, in part because we don't know much about oils to begin with. That, however, will hopefully be corrected in 30 short minutes of... Right before Rudolf Diesel cranked up his eponymous engine at the 1900 Paris World Exposition, he uttered two words to the crowd: peanut oil. Indeed, the engine in this fine vehicle would run on pure vegetable oil, modification-free, if it weren't so viscous and gel-like when cold. As it is, a 50-50 filtered veg oil diesel mix does just fine. What does this have to do with food? Now, whether you're talking olive oil or light crude, you're really talking about hydrocarbons, which are nothing but chemical energy stored as carbon and hydrogen atoms arranged thusly. Thank you. This simple molecular menagerie is one of the most potent energy storage devices on Earth. Now, these are usually found in long chains. Nicely done. Now, depending on the length of this structure, you could find it in diesel fuel. But if you tinker with it just a wee bit and bond it along with two others to a glycerol molecule, now we have a triglyceride. That is 3 hydrocarbon chains, which are now called fatty acids, and a glycerol. Now, all culinary oils look like this, but they're not all exactly alike because these chains can come in 3 different configurations. If every carbon bonding point has a hydrogen in it, it is a saturated fatty acid. If one position happens to be open, it's a monounsaturated fatty acid, and if more than one position is open, it is polyunsaturated. Now, unsaturating also puts kind of a kink in a molecule, which is important because that's what makes these liquid at room temperature. Now, some oils are higher in polyunsaturates, some higher in monos, but regardless of composition, all culinary oils carry around 9 calories per gram, which is twice what you would find in a gram of either protein or carbohydrate. Now, thank you, my good man. That's for your efforts. Thank you. Bye-bye. One of the most powerful culinary operations an oil can play a role in is the saute. Although the term often refers to a particular step in the preparation of a dish, it can also signify any dish prepared by sauteing. Heck, it's even got a pan named after it. Now, the method is hot and it is fast, which might lead you to immediately reach for an oil with a high smoke point. Now, a smoke point, come on, good boy, is a temperature at which a given oil begins to rapidly deteriorate and create smoke. It is not a good thing to have happen because it creates a lot of flavors, all of them bad. Now, many charts and tables will attempt to quantify smoke points, and I'm here to tell you they're all complete hooey. The truth is, there are just too many factors going into a smoke point to make such concrete claims. So we'll tell you this. High heat will destroy the fruity goodness of an extra virgin olive oil or the nutty goodness of a walnut oil. But you can saute with just about any oil as long as you work fast. My favorite sauté oils contain a relatively high ratio of monounsaturated to saturated fats. Canola, peanut, avocado, all fit the bill. But so do sesame oils, and toasted sesame oil is nice because it can bring a distinct Asian flavor and aroma to the party. Now, when the sauté train pulls out of the station, there's no stopping, so proper prep is key. The goal, as far as the food, have everything sliced and diced in the size and shape that will guarantee that when it all comes out of the pan, it'll be perfectly done. Here's how it is going to go. We have 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of minced ginger, 8 ounces of carrots cut on the bias in 1/4-inch pieces, 4 ounces each of sugar snap peas and shredded Savoy cabbage, 3/4 of an ounce by weight of green onion chopped, a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and a couple of teaspoons of cilantro or mint chopped to finish. And of course, our good friends salt and pepper will come into play. Now, when I saute, I like a classic 10-inch saute pan with straight sides because it's got more floor space than a curved skillet, and that means I've got more room to work. Now, this is going down over medium heat. I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of our toasted sesame oil. I'm sure you've heard the old adage, hot pan, cold oil. Well, it evolved to keep us from pouring oil into a pan and walking away, which is never a good idea when flammables are involved. Of course, if we had some kind of alarm to tell us when the heat was close, we wouldn't have to worry now, would we? Well, it just so happens the average popcorn kernel detonates at 350 degrees. Thing, keep an ear on that, would you? I got a question for you. What if we didn't use any oil in the pan? Answer. The food would not brown very well, and it would stick something fierce. Oil can fix both of these situations. How? The same way motor oil keeps your engine parts chugging along at several thousand RPMs without blowing the proverbial gasket. You see, your pan, like this engine part, looks smooth. Thanks, bro. You sure it's okay to take this out? All right. But on a microscopic level, your pan and this piston are pocked with pits, nooks, crannies, and fissures. These cause friction in moving parts in an engine and plenty of sticking in a hot pan. Now, oils, be they motor or cooking, tend to cling to metal because of a slight negativity. And since their long molecules slip and slide on one another, friction is reduced in the engine and sticking is reduced in the pan. Now, there you go. I hope you can get that back in. Oils are also efficient heat absorbers, which means they can move heat away from hot engine parts or towards cold foods. That's why foods brown so nicely and cook so quickly when oil is invited to the party. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to wash these engine-y hands. Thank you, Thing. Now, I have found that the popcorn is an amazingly reliable thermostat, but in no way do I advocate your leaving the kitchen once the fat hits the pan, okay? I did that because this is television. I mean, you might have an old kernel that doesn't pop right. It's a bad idea to leave with accelerants heating, so stay put. Okay, time to saute. First food in, always the aromatics, because we want them to influence the entire dish. So, the garlic and the ginger. We also want to go ahead and get the longest cooking item in the pan, and that would be the carrots. And I always season up front. 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt and a few grinds of black pepper. We're going to let this cook for 4 minutes. 4 minutes is up. The next food in should be the one that needs the most time of what's left, and that would be the sugar snap peas. 1 minute. Next up, the greenery, the Savoy, and the green onions. And add another minute to the clock. Okay, we're close to the end. Add the rice wine vinegar, toss in the herbs, kill the heat, stir to combine, and serve immediately. And so our toasted sesame oil has served as lubrication, heat transfer medium, and flavorant. Serve as a side or with sticky rice as a vegetarian delight. Besides triglycerides, food oils contain a host of other organic compounds which can contribute to flavor, aroma, as well as alter the cooking characteristics. Now, although the plant matter concern certainly makes a difference, so does the method of extraction. Since the machines used to do this job are large, complex, and far away, we've put together a few models to prove a few points.
You said we, Master.
Yes, but it was an accident.
And you've covered up the windows to keep the nasty sun from burning our eyes.
Actually, I did that so that the neighbors couldn't see you.
Look! I've made a squeezy for you.
And an excellent squeezy it is. This, of course, a simple model of a basic oil press. This device uses old-fashioned pressure to extract oils from fatty foods such as avocados, olives, and sesame seeds. Oils extracted thusly are referred to as cold-press oils, which are capable of delivering considerable flavor and aroma. A good example would be extra virgin olive oil. What?
Oh, nothing, Bastard.
If heat is applied, more oil can be removed, but the resulting product cannot be referred to as cold press. Now, the next method of extraction is the expeller. This device uses a worm screw capable of applying 20,000 kilopascals of pressure to squeeze oils from less fatty seeds and grains. Now, the extreme pressure produces temperatures in excess of 200 degrees, which destroys most flavor compounds.
But it sure is fun.
Unless the words crude or unrefined appear on the container, you can assume an expeller oil has been refined with corrosive alkalines or steam.
Oh, speaking of corrosive.
Some seeds, like rape seeds and legumes, such as soybeans, contain so little oil that they have to be ground, scalded, and doused with caustic solvents like hexane to get anything at all useful out of them. The resulting oil is then filtered, bleached, and deodorized, resulting in a crystal clear elixir free of any and all impurities.
Just like me.
What's important to extract from this is that cold-pressed oils offer a lot of flavor, color, and aroma, but they can't take much heat. Refined filtered oils are squeaky clean with almost no flavor or aroma, but they can take the heat. And as you might expect, they both deserve places in the kitchen. By the way, what do you do with all this gear in the dungeon?
Oh, I'm working on my own line of oil.
Really? Olive oil?
Oh, no. Frog.
Oils, especially those high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, tend to break down and go rancid if they're exposed to oxygen. Light and heat speed this process, so store your oils, especially cold-pressed oils, in a cool, dark place. Pantry, root cellar, if you have one, refrigerator, or a wine cooler would be fine too. Just remember, refrigerated oils, if they get cold enough, they'll cloud up, but it's okay. They'll clear when they warm up again. Safflower is the one exception. It tends to stay clear regardless of temperature, which is why it's so popular in salad dressings. Although Americans don't often fry with it, I've become a big fan of plain old refined olive oil, which, despite being 14% saturated fat, leads the pack in heart-healthy monounsaturated fats at 76%. Now, although its pedigree is Italian, my favorite application is decidedly American. Potato chips. That means deep frying, and for me, that means a big old Dutch oven, nice and dense. Now, we will also require the services of a good frying thermometer, which we will attach thusly. Now, oil is going to take 2 quarts, but don't worry, most of it's going to be left in the pot. You can always reuse it. As for the rest of the hardware, mandolin or V-slicer or other device capable of creating dime-thick slices, a large strainer like this spider, and a bowl lined with paper towels for tossing. Now, as far as the potatoes themselves, we always want to go with high-starch russet baking potatoes. 3 medium should do the trick. We'll need salt and pepper too, but we'll get to that. Now, the first step is to bring this oil up to 300 degrees. And I'm going to do that over medium heat so that when I get to about 280, I'll be able to back down that heat without zooming past the target temperature. That would be a bad thing. Like so many simple applications, potato chips are all about details. For instance, the pieces need to hit the oil one at a time. That's the only way to make sure that they don't stick. If they're stuck together when they hit the oil, odds are you'll never be able to pry them apart. This also means that you need to keep them moving gently throughout, well, pretty much the entire cooking cycle. But don't worry, it's only going to take a few minutes. As water boils out of the potatoes, it's going to move into the oil before going into the air, and that is going to cool the oil quite a bit. You could lose 20 degrees in just the first couple of minutes. So you've got to keep one hand on the spider and the other hand on the throttle to keep that oil as close to 300 as possible. If you're using brand new oil, you may notice that the first couple of spiderfuls of chips are going to be just a little bit on the pale side, okay? That is because the oil and the water coming out of the chips don't get along with each other, okay? But as the oil starts to break down little by little from heat and contact with the food, small amounts of natural soaps are produced, and these soaps will act essentially as emulsifiers to help the potato and the oil get together and do the browning, which is so critical for the flavor that we're out for. This is referred to as breaking in the oil and explains why professional frymen, when they change their fry machines, always put some of the old fat in with the new fat. Leads to better browning. Although I've heard of some home chippers sprinkling on things like chili powder, I find that the only extra adornment ever required here is a little spritzing of malt vinegar. Very nice. Now, back on the counter, please notice that I'm filtering the cooled fry oil through a couple of coffee filters back into the original bottle, which I will then top off with some new oil. Then I'm going to freeze it. That way, I'll be able to get maybe 5, 6, 7 fry sessions out of it. Just make sure that you throw it out before it becomes dark, stinky, or smoky. Now, the last decade saw a huge influx of nut oils come onto the market, and you may have never been able to figure out exactly what to do with one of these luscious lovelies. Our ice cream begins with a medium saucepan over medium heat. Add 1 cup of heavy cream, 3 cups of whole milk, and bring to a simmer. Meanwhile, whisk 6 large egg yolks until they lighten and thicken a bit. Then gradually add 9 ounces by weight of sugar. When that is in, bring along half a cup of any cold-pressed oil that you like. I'm using hazelnut, but you could go with almond, or believe it or not, extra virgin if you like. Olive oil, that is. Now, once that's thoroughly combined, which could take 30 seconds of whisking, go ahead and grab a ladle and add just a little bit of the hot liquid, whisking constantly. This is called tempering, and it's meant to slowly heat the eggs to ensure that they won't curdle. Truth is, with all this sugar, I would be very surprised if they would curdle if you dropped hot lava in here, but we're going to do it just to be careful. And once you've got a third or so in, you can go ahead and dump in the rest in just a constant stream. There. Now, when everything is in, we're going to go right back in the opposite direction into the saucepan. over medium heat. I'm going to give that a little stir with the whisk just to make sure that all the egg is worked in. Now, temperature is more important at this step. We're looking for 170 to 175 degrees. It'll be a little thicker at that stage, but it's tough to recognize, so you're definitely going to want to use your fry thermometer here. Once it is done, we're going to strain that to make sure we don't have any chilese or any other bits of egg hanging out, and that's going to go straight into an ice bath to chill. When the mixture is thoroughly chilled, cover with plastic wrap and stash in your chill chest for 4 to 6 hours. This is called mellowing, and it will improve both the flavor and the texture. Trust me. When your machine starts to struggle, you're probably done. Yeah, this is a soft serve consistency. You can serve as is or harden for a few hours in the freezer. But if you do that, cover tightly. Remember, fats and oils are notorious for picking up bad flavors. Well, I certainly hope we've inspired you to become your own personal oil baron. The way I see it, oils contain 9 calories per gram, more than twice a like-sized serving of carbohydrates or proteins, so you better make the most of them. My strategy? Have 3 or 4 oils for cooking and then another half dozen or so for cold or room temperature applications. As for your diesel, well, that may be good science, but I doubt it will ever rank as good eats. See you next time.